Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got in something a little bit unique to take a look at. This is an insect repellent, like mosquito repellent, flashlight, and lantern all combined into one really small package here. This was sent to me from Traverse, and a couple videos back I did their camping stove, and I really liked it, really impressed with it. But imagine taking a flashlight, lantern, and then combining it with the mosquito repellent. So it's going to be something like this, but in a much smaller form factor. And as you can see, I have several mosquito repellents. Most of them are from Thermostat. These ones are rechargeable, but it takes these types of refills. They're kind of expensive. They're very expensive, actually. This type here, I actually think works the best, that uses these little blue pads here. The only thing that sucks about this kind is that you have to take a big fuel can with you, so that does take up a lot of space and weight. And none of these have lights or lanterns, so I'm kind of excited to see what this one's about. So stick around if you guys want to learn about it too. We'll do a real quick unboxing. We'll go over all the features and specifications. We'll see how everything works on it. I'll actually put it to use and let you guys know if I feel like it worked or not. And then also give just some overall thoughts on it. So looking over the box, I do not see a manufacturer name or even like a model name. It's just called the Repellent Camping Lantern. As you can see, we're going to have the repellent, the lantern, flashlight. It's going to have some LED indicators. It looks like this is a like a portable power bank as well, and it says waterproof. Nothing really on that side, and it looks like it is IPX6 on that waterproof rating. But let's get into it, see what all we have here. So, little lantern itself. Oh, it looks like they include a small little tripod. These are going to be our pads that we're going to need. Looks like there's 6 of them. We have an A to C charging cable. And our manual. One thing that sucks about these Thermostats is that they still use a micro USB cable. You can get probably maybe 8 hours of use out of this, so maybe a couple of evenings. So if you're going on a multi-day camping trip, 4, 5, 6 nights or whatever, you have to remember to take a micro USB cable, which basically nothing else uses. I wish they would switch this over to USB-C, so I am glad that this is using a USB-C cable. I'll quickly show you the manual. It is in English, and there are illustrations. I don't see any type of warranty information or who to contact if you have a problem with yours though. So with this included tripod, it obviously has a 1/4 thread on the bottom of that. The tripod's about 5 inches in length. It is all plastic, but it's very, very lightweight. I probably wouldn't use it for anything heavy, but it's going to be fine for this lantern mosquito repellent. No rubber feet or anything on the bottom either. Everything is plastic around here too. Oh, it looks like it extends quite a bit as well. Very cool. And with those legs being able to extend, if you're on like some uneven ground, you can pull 1 out or 2 out or whatever and set them at different heights to make it be level for you. All right, let's look at this lantern mosquito repellent. Well, first impressions picking this up, this feels really solid. This does not feel like anything that's cheaply made. This has some type of glass here that I don't think that's plastic. That's pretty heavy. I just pulled the little film off from around this. And I honestly can't tell if this is plastic or glass. It sounds almost like a plastic when you're hitting it, but there's some heft to this. Give you guys some quick dimensions on this. The body itself is about 5.5 inches in length. If you add the length of the carabiner, you're just under 7 inches. And we'll go with the widest spot, 1.5 inches. Looking at a total weight of 5.9 ounces. And if you're interested in that little tripod weight, 2.2 ounces. So what, you're just about 8 ounces with the whole thing. Let's kind of take a tour around this and look over things. So again, we're going to have this carabiner up top. That feels very solid. You can also move it different directions. It does not spin though. Up top here is where we're going to put those little repellent pads. It's just going to slide through. And then you can take your next one when you're ready and just push the same direction, and then it'll push the one that you've used out. We got buttons here. One's going to be for our lights. One's going to be for the actual mosquito repellent. And then there's an indicator light right there. We'll figure out what it all is for. Got our USB-C port here. That cover does feel a little bit flimsy, a little bit thin. See if it locks back in easily. Yeah, it went in fine. We're going to have one light right here, which is kind of like the lantern, I believe. We'll check that out in a bit. And then I think there's another light down here, which is more like the flashlight. And then it has information that's inside of here. And I thought that this would just slide out and you could remove it, just have like a clear cylinder here, but I don't think you can. I think it's meant to stay in there. And then down here is our tripod mount. So on the bottom of this repellent lantern thing is like this rubber thing, and when you sit it down, it's very stable as it is. But I suppose that it could be knocked over, so that's the purpose of the little tripod here. One thing I will say with the tripod is that the feet don't spread really wide, but that's still way more stable than without them. But I've got other tripods that are very similar in length. I think this is a 6-inch one instead of 5-inch. But just to show you here, so that's as far as those ones will go. Whereas something like this here, I could put it to where it's almost all the way down. Let's go over the lights first on it, and then later on in the video, we'll go over the mosquito repellent part. But again, we're gonna have a lantern or a flashlight, or you can have them both on together. To turn any of it on, you have to double click the light button. And then this is the lantern mode right now. And if you don't like that brightness, you just press and hold the light button. And it has what's called stepless dimming. So that is the very brightest right there. That's 450 lumens. And again, it's designed to really either sit up or hang, and it will disperse the light downward. But again, if 450 lumens is too much, because this will use up your battery a little bit more, you're going to get like 2.5 hours of runtime at this brightness. Just press and hold that button, and it will dim down all the way down to a 5 lumen, and this would last for 65 hours. And I'll try to show you guys this at night so you can get an idea of what 5 lumens looks like and what that 450 lumens looks like. And if you want to switch to the flashlight, you just simply press the button. That'll switch us over. That is 300 lumens. That'll go for about 4.5 hours. And same thing, if we want to dim it down more, just press and hold. That's going to show us our brightest, and now it'll go down. So you get like a little flash when you reach the peak of each of those. But again, that's our 5 lumen flashlight. And then like I said, you can also have it to where the lantern and the flashlight are on together. So we have everything on right now. And this is 750 lumens total. I'm not exactly sure what the runtime is on this one. It's got to be less than 2.5 hours though. But same thing here, if you don't want it to be the full brightness. You can just press and hold and just kind of dim it down to whatever level you want. And you don't have to stop at the lowest and the highest. It's stepless dimming, so you can stop anywhere in between those that you want. So this is using a 21700 battery, which is 5,000 milliamp hours. And every time that you turn either the mosquito repellent on or the flashlight lantern, whatever on, you're going to get this little indicator right here. Let me switch over to the flashlight so it's not quite as bright. These are 25% increments. So if all four lights were on, we're at 100%, 75, 50, and then 25. So we are fairly low right now. I will get this charged in a bit. I showed you that you have to double click to turn it on. You also have to double click to turn it off. And something to point out is no matter what level you're in, let's say that I'm in flashlight mode and I shut it off. The next time I turn it on, it'll always come on in that lantern mode and not what you last used. So let's charge up the repellent lantern. See what it's like here. Alright, so we have some flashing lights now. I assume that all four of these will light up and then stop flashing once it's fully charged. I know on an empty battery or drain battery, it does take about 3 hours, I think, to fully charge it. Let's check out the power bank feature of this and make sure that this is an output port like it says it's supposed to be. So we'll just take a phone here and see if we can get it to charge. Yep, it looks like it took it, and yes, it is charging. We'll let that go for a couple minutes and see if we get up higher than the 10% that it's on right now. Alright, had that go a couple of minutes and we are at 19%, so yes, it is in fact charging. Alright, let's check out the mosquito repellent feature of this. These are little pads that are going to go in here. Again, we're just going to slide it through, and then we're just going to double click this here to turn this on. You can see we have a green light right now. There's actually like a low, medium, and high on it. Green is the lowest setting, and then there's a yellow and then a red. A red is the highest. It's supposed to get up to like operating temperature in about a minute, which I believe is somewhere in like the 360 degree range. There's little plates in here that are basically going to heat up and then make the chemicals that's on this little pad come out. Hopefully we can see it working here in a minute. If you're on the lowest, that green setting, this is supposed to last for about 16 hours. Up on the highest, the red, I believe it's around 6 hours. But we'll let this go for a minute or two, and then I'll see if the camera can pick up any of the stuff coming off. So I've allowed this to go for about 10 minutes or so, and at this point I cannot see any of the chemicals being released, but I can definitely smell it. So I know it's doing something. The few thermocells that I have, you can usually actually see the chemicals coming off of it. And there's also definitely some heat coming off of this around here. It's not too hot to hold, but you can for sure feel it. But I guess I'll let this go for a couple hours and then report my findings. Here is what that lantern looks like on the highest setting. For reference, this deck is like 12 by 26, and it pretty much lights up the entire deck. And that is the lowest setting. I'm going to switch it over to the flashlight next. We'll go up to the highest setting on it. Again, highest setting. Also wanted to show you that you can easily attach this to a backpack, so that if you're out on the trails, you'll have the repellent with you and working. And you could also do the belt loops on your pants or shorts. So what do I think about this little mosquito repellent camping lantern? I really like the idea of a battery powered, rechargeable mosquito repellent. That's why I bought some of those other ones from Thermacell. Being able to carry a small little device like this with you instead of like the thermostat stove and then like the isobutane cans, this is just so much more convenient. Plus, add in the fact that this has a lantern, a flashlight, a built-in battery bank. It's a pretty cool little device. I also like the fact that you can hang this like inside your tent on the hook. You can put this on a tree branch. It's got the tripod mount. This is obviously intended for backpacking or camping or whatever, picnics. But this would be a good little device to have for power outages as well. Again, you can charge your phone. You can just set this on the table during a power outage and have some light in the room. It's definitely not the brightest lantern I've ever seen. It's not the brightest flashlight, but they both work. And the power bank function works because it was charging my phone. So let's talk about the actual mosquito repellent part of it. It did not work as well as what my Thermacells do. One reason is these little pads are about half the size, if that is what the Thermacell. So I think that the Thermacell just has a bigger coverage area. The other thing is when I pulled these out, they feel dry right out of the package, whereas the Thermacell ones almost leave your fingers wet. So I think the next time I try to use this, I'm actually going to put some water on here, just a couple drops before I put it in there. I don't know if the company would recommend doing that, but that's what I'm saying I'm going to do because these are really, really dry. And if any of you are wondering what the active ingredients are, that's what they are right there. Usually with the Thermacells, I can actually see like a smoke coming off of it, and I could not see it with this, and I'd have to get pretty close to even smell anything coming out of it. But again, it did seem to work. You just had to be sitting really close to it. If I could change anything on it, I'd make it to where it had mode memory for your light level output. When you turn it on, it always comes on this exact same brightness. So I'll take it up to the highest here and then take it all the way down to the lowest. So let's say I had a light on in my tent at night. I only needed this amount of light, and then I shut it off. And in the middle of the night, I wake up and I want it to be on that really low level again. When I turn it back on, it's back up to that higher amount. Not the highest, but I wish that wherever I shut it off, it would come back on that same amount of light. But again, overall, I really like it. Would definitely recommend it. It can see a lot of useful purposes for it. So at the time of me making this video, these are available on Traverse-On's website. They're coming in at right around $70. I think that there might be a discount code. I'll leave the link, and if there's a discount code, I'll leave that also down in the video description. And I know I keep comparing this to a Thermacell, but a Thermacell does not have a flashlight, a lantern, a portable power bank, so you're getting a lot for this price. But alright guys, if you found the video helpful or informative in any way, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.